Welcome back. This may be one of the first wars, or the first war, fought more in cyberspace than on the ground. You might remember the Colonial Pipeline shut down last year because of Russian hackers, created gas lines for half of America, shut down the flow of gas. It could have been so much worse, and there are real fears that Vladimir Putin is planning a very similar attack in retaliation for the U.S. sanctions just put on by President Biden. With that, we bring in Morgan Wright, former official with the U.S. State Department Anti-Terrorism Program, senior leader there, now a cybersecurity expert. There's this debate right now. Do we go after Vladimir Putin and flex some muscles in cyberspace, or is his ability to inflict pain on us more than we're willing to take?
Yeah, Leland, I think that we are well positioned in cyberspace in a way that we're not militarily right now over there because we're not going to put boots on the ground. But we can put bits and bytes in cyberspace at a time and place of our choosing. We've got the NSA, we've got the U.S. Cyber Command, we've got Army
why aren't
units
we doing
it?
Why are the lights on still on in Moscow?
Depends on two things. Number one, we don't go and attack civilian targets. That's not part of the doctrine. That's not part of what the United States military does. That being said, I don't know what's going on in the National Security Council. I don't know what debates they're having, but they've got to let them know at some point that we're going to extract a price out of what they do. It's contained within Ukraine right now, but I would imagine that Germany's high on Vladimir's list for cancellation of the Nord Stream. I would imagine that with the sanctions that we're going to become targets of that. I think it's one of those things, though, too, is I think they should. And here's the thing. They may be doing something we don't know about. There's not a lot of freedom of the press in Russia. So if something's happening, Vladimir likes to disappear reporters who report bad about him. So there actually may be stuff going on that we don't know about.
It's a great point. I've only got about 45 seconds left, 30 seconds. What are you going to be watching for Vladimir Putin's moves against the United States? We know about Colonial. How worried should Americans be that this weekend their ATM card's not going to work?
Here's an interesting point. It's not so much Vladimir doing something to us, but it's the fact that some of the new tools he's using, these wiping of malware that we've discovered, these DDoS attacks, if that code gets into the wild and it gets into the hand of criminal groups, non-state actors, we could actually find that software that was developed to attack Ukraine is being used by ransomware, like we talked about Colonial Pipeline, being used against us. Russia doesn't even have to do anything. All they have to do is release the code into the wild and let other criminal groups attack us.
Yeah, we know that they support a lot of cyber criminals from Russia.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Russian. Hey, Morgan, appreciate you joining us. So far, the lights are still on in Kyiv. We'll see you in a couple of hours. Dan's next. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.